D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this story or this video, and you can read them for yourself or whatnot, or just watch this video where I break them all down for you, and then you just go about your way. Before I get started, though, I also want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. I also ask that you do this to any small YouTuber, you guys. I know they would really appreciate it, and we're just like, us small YouTubers, we're on the struggle bus when it comes to YouTube. So, yeah. All right, so let's get started on all of this. So for my first story this week, it looks like Fred Hechinger, I hope that's how you say his name, is playing the Chameleon in the Kraven the Hunter movie. Now, this is for Sony Pictures, and they've been doing all these Spider-Man villain movies. They did Venom and everything, and they're doing Morbius if that ever comes out. Hopefully, I'm kind of excited to see that movie. Sorry, I just needed a little something. Okay, so this comes on the heels of Russell Crowe being cast as Kraven's dad. I don't know what his name is in the comics. Kraven the Hunter is not like one of my the characters that I really like focused on when it came to. Although I do own some really old Kraven the Hunter comic books. I'll have to bust those out when this movie comes out. Anyways, and then of course Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing Kraven the Hunter. So, and of course, both those Russell Crowe and Aaron Taylor Johnson aren't new to playing Marvel characters. Johnson played Quicksilver in the MCU for just that one movie, and Crowe is going to be playing Zeus in the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder movie. So we'll see how well he does there. He'll probably do good. I think Russell Crowe's a good actor and everything. So Ryan Coogler originally wanted Kraven the Hunter for Black Panther. If you guys remember, he wanted to do like a kind of like a talk about like how about poaching and big game hunting in Africa. But he would have had to. Marvel doesn't want to give away money to Sony and everything, and they would have had to rope them in to get to use Kraven the Hunter, the character. Now, like I said, Fred Hechinger, yeah, I think that's how you say his name. He's been cast as the Chameleon. Now, who is Fred Hechinger? You may know him from White Lotus. That was the most recent thing he was on was Pam and Tommy. I haven't seen that yet, but I hear it's good. I'll watch it at some point in time. I'll probably wait until all of it drops all at once. Anyways, but he was on White Lotus. He was good on White Lotus. I actually liked White Lotus. I thought it was fun, and everything. I think they're still doing a season 2 of that. I'm not interested in that. I think the one season was good enough for me. And then he was also in The Woman in the Window. Where he played a creepy little dude. So maybe he's gonna be in maybe just like a real creepy little dude in here as the Chameleon. Now, who is the Chameleon? The Chameleon is Dmitry Smardatovkov, and he is a Russian supervillain. He is He is the first ever adversary of the superhero Spider-Man, and the character is usually depicted as a master of disguise, known for his ability to impersonate virtually anyone. He is also the half-brother of Kraven the Hunter. Originally, the Chameleon had no superhuman powers and simply used makeup and elaborate costuming to impersonate his targets. Later, the Chameleon obtained a microcomputer from Spencer Smythe for his belt buckle that could be programmed with the facial features of hundreds of people. Finally, he was giving shape-shifting powers, kind of like Mystique. Mostly everything I know about the Chameleon comes from the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s. I loved that show. It really I read comic books back then just because my older brother was really into comic books and he introduced me into comic books. But most of the stuff I know about these, because the Chameleon's, in all honesty, is not that huge of a character in this Spider-Man universe, in my opinion. Now, the question is, will the Chameleon be working with Kraven the Hunter, or will he be the target of Kraven the Hunter? And I think with Spider-Man not being in these movies, I think that the Chameleon would be the target. And I think that he would be a good one at that. I think that Kraven would really need to use those hunter skills to track down his shape-shifting brother. But you never know. I mean, they could just have him be helping Kraven the Hunter. It'll be curious to see how they do this movie. This is the thing. I liked Venom, and I liked Venom 2. But I don't, and I'm probably Morbius. I'm sorry, but Morbius looks like a good time to me. I'm not gonna lie. That was like a character that I never thought they'd make a solo movie with Morbius. But and the same thing with Kraven the Hunter. I didn't think they'd ever make but they seem to be going all in on these bad guys with this Sony verse. But I have to say, I'm interested in this movie. You know, I thought when they first announced it, I was like, what, and everything. But now I'm all like, let's see where they go from here. You know, let's see if they make an actually good movie. You know, and it's all about the writing for me. I mean, if you know, like Venom and Carnage, you know, those two movies weren't really like. They weren't the best as terms of writing and like all that other stuff. But I liked those movies. They were really good. They were a good time and everything. Okay, so enough of that nonsense. I do think that, and Fred Hetchinger, is that how you? I hope I'm saying his name right. I think that he's a good choice for this. I think that he does the creep factor very well. You know, with Woman in the Window. And I think I haven't seen him in Pam and Tommy, so I don't know what character he's playing. But I think that it'll be interesting to see, you know, if they do that shape-shifting thing or if they do the belt buckle thing, because that's how it was in the animated series. He had that belt buckle. But it'll be just interesting to see what they do there. And I'm quite excited for it. So that is my first story of the day. So for my second story of the day, is another casting story. Aaron Pierre has been cast in the Blade movie. Now, of course, this is for Marvel and it'll be in the MCU. And his role hasn't been revealed of who he's going to be playing, but apparently it was very coveted. And by that, they had a lot of people audition for it. And I guess he got the role. Now he joins Mahershala Ali as Blade and Delroy Lindo, whose role has also not been disclosed, but they also said Delroy Lindo's character / role was also coveted. So it'll be very interesting to see who they choose for him to play. And I have a list of people that he could play. Sorry, I just needed a sip of coffee. It's you know, whatever. Anyways, so Bassam Tariq is set to direct this movie. I've never seen his movie. He only did the one movie. I haven't seen it, but we'll see how he does with this one. Now, if you remember, Blade was played by Wesley Snipes in the trilogy movies that came out in the 90s and early 2000s and everything. And I like all those movies. I mean, the third one's not my favorite, but I do actually like those movies. I think they're fun and everything. Now, who is Aaron Pierre? Now, you may know him from the show Krypton, which is where I was introduced to him. And then he was also recently in the movie Old, where I also thought he did a very good job. Krypton, his character was a little smaller, you know, he was, you know, obviously in scenes, but his character wasn't the main focus of the show. But I did like him. And I think that he's got a great look. And with his eyes are very blue. And, you know, he's got that jawbone. He looks great and everything. Now, who could Aaron Pierre be playing? Well, if he's playing a villain, I thought we could go through some of Blade's more famous villains and characters. But the first one I want to talk about is not a villain. It's Dr. Voodoo. A lot of people are saying Dr. Voodoo, and I'm throwing up some pictures of him now. But Dr. Voodoo, I think it would be a fun choice. I don't know if they're going to do Dr. Voodoo or whatnot. If they do, great. If not, it's totally cool. But if he does play a villain, which would be great, because, you know, I know a lot of people are all like, oh, I don't want to play the bad guy and everything. I would love to play a bad guy if I was them. The bad guys are always much more fun, you know what I'm saying? Because they're going to be all naughty and everything. Now, he could play Blackout, Varney, Dr. Sun, Baron Blood, Deacon Frost, or Dracula. Now, Deacon Frost was in the first Blade movie, which came out in 1998. but I think maybe they'll do that one. I don't know if they'll do Deacon Frost. That would be a race change there, but it would be fine. I mean, it would work and everything. But I think that any one of these, or maybe it's totally not a villain, or a character that we know that they're going to do, or a character that's like necessarily related to Blade. It could be anybody. It could be really anybody. But I do think it's interesting, and it's fun to see these movies come together with just like casting and all that stuff. So maybe we'll get some when they start filming. Maybe we'll get some set photos, see who he's going to play. Maybe we'll get some announcements of who he's going to play. You never know, and it should be fun. But good for Aaron Pierre. I always wish good things for people. Just because the world sucks and everything. So if one good thing happens to somebody, then I'm all for it. So that is my second story of the week. So for my third and final story of the week, Lyric Ross has been cast in the Ironheart show. Now, this is a series for Disney Plus, and this will be a part of the MCU and everything. And Ross will be playing Ross. Lyric Ross, sorry, that's her name. Her name is Lyric Ross, will be playing Riri Williams' best friend, Natalie Washington. Now, she joins Dominique Thorne and Anthony Ramos for this show, Ironheart. I'm not talking about the Japanese porno and everything. And Thorne, Dominique Thorne will be playing Riri Williams. And then Anthony Ramos is rumored to be playing the villain, but they haven't released his character for, who he's going to be playing. Gosh, you may know Lyric Ross from the show Sirens. Never seen it before. Chicago Fire, which I have seen before, but I don't remember Lyric Ross. I don't know how many episodes she was in. And then you may remember her from the show This Is Us. Now, I don't watch This Is Us, but I have seen some episodes. My wife watches This Is Us. She cries a lot when she watches This Is Us. Sorry, I just need a little bit more coffee. But that's not my jam. But Lyric Ross is in it. I haven't seen her in it before, or if I did, I don't remember. It's nothing against her. It's just I don't watch that show on the regular, so I wouldn't recognize her if you turned it on and just played it. I wouldn't be like, oh, hey, there's Lyric Ross and everything. Now, who is Natalie Washington, the character that she is playing? She is, like I said before, Riri Williams' best friend, and they met as children, and Natalie took an immediate interest in Riri's engineering work. A few years later, tragedy struck when both girls were caught in the line of fire of an unrelated drive-by, and Natalie was killed. However, there's nothing to say that the MCU will follow that same path. As far as this show goes, I have zero interest in this show. I don't think, me personally, the Disney Plus series have not been that good in my opinion. And Ironheart is a crap character. Riri Williams, if you've ever read those comic books, and don't come at me because I know you didn't read it. That book got canceled and they did not sell. So I know most of you weren't reading that comic book. But I don't like that character. She's like completely unrelatable. I'm sorry, like if you read that, like her friend Natalie dying was like the biggest tragedy in her life. It's like crazy. Like these characters that they're bringing into the MCU are so one note and so uninteresting. I don't understand. Maybe they'll make them better in the show. I doubt it though. But Riri Williams, they talk about her engineering work. She stole her tech from Tony Stark to get started on her suit. So it's like, okay, her engineering work. But Lyric Ross, good for her getting this role. I'm sure that's a big thing, because she, everybody wants to be a part of the MCU now, but I'm not interested in this show. I'll probably watch it anyways, because I'll probably cover it, but good for her. My biggest thing is just this character, the Ironheart comic book was awful. It was god awful. And I don't think that this show is going to be any better. So, what are you going to do with this stuff? And that's just my opinion. If you liked this comic book, I doubt you did, though. It didn't sell, you don't buy what you do. You don't, you don't not buy what you love. If you loved it, you would have bought it and it would have gotten more attention, but it wasn't good. And in fairness, I think I read like 4 or 5 issues and I was like, I'm out. This is not good. I can't handle this anymore. Because comic books are expensive. Well, when you buy a bunch of them, if you buy 1 or 2, it's not that bad. But when you buy like, when you go to the like if you're like me and you go and you buy like 10, 15 comic books at a time, it gets pretty expensive, especially if they're newer ones that are like $5. You're like, man. But yeah, okay. Sorry, I went on a comic book tangent there. All right, guys. So those are my 3 stories of the week. Tell me, what do you guys think about this? How do you feel about Fred Hetchinger being cast as the Chameleon for the Kraven the Hunter movie? Is this a movie you're excited about? Do you think it's coming together, or do you think it'll be like a big nothing burger because nobody wants to see Spider-Man villain movies? They want to see Spider-Man fighting these Spider-Man villains, or do you think this is great and you're excited for this movie? I'm kind of excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of excited for it. I think it sounds like a good time to me. How do you feel about Pierre getting cast in the new Blade movie? Are you a fan of Pierre's? Did you watch him on Krypton like I did? Or in Old? I liked him in Old also. How do you feel about the Blade movie coming out? Who do you think he's going to play? Do you have your own theories? Same thing with Delroy Lindo. Who do you think he's going to play? I think all of it sounds fascinating. I'm definitely, Blade is a really good character. And so I I wasn't introduced to Blade until the movie, the first one with Wesley Snipes. And then I've read some comic books with Blade and everything. So, and I watched that TV series. That was really good too. I wish they wouldn't have canceled it, but yeah, no, I think that this is great. And I think this movie is really coming together. We'll just have to see the final product and stuff. And then finally, how do you feel about Lyric Ross being cast in Ironheart? Is this something that you're excited for? Are you not excited for it? Are you like me and Ironheart is just like a whack character? Or do you think that this is a show that is going to be really, really great and you're really excited for it and everything? And did you like those comic books? Did you read those comic books? All that good stuff. You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my week in review. You guys have a good week. Bye.
Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my Week in Review.